Right now on Morning News Now, shrouded in darkness, millions of people across 3 countries in North America are preparing to witness the first total solar eclipse in 7 years as the moon moves between the sun and the earth, temporarily blocking out the light. Mexico's Pacific coast will be the first to see the eclipse before it moves north through parts of the United States and Canada. While most cities on the eclipse's path will be blanketed in shadow for 2 minutes, some places like northwestern Mexico and parts of Texas could see up to 4.5 minutes of darkness. Thousands of people are flocking to places like Texas to catch a glimpse of the phenomenon. But forecasters say cloudy skies there and elsewhere could obscure the view for many sky watchers. Now, despite the potentially gloomy outlook, health officials are urging people to take precautions when viewing the eclipse. That means avoiding looking directly at the sun and wearing those protective glasses if you do so. Here in New York, Governor Kathy Hochul said she was excited to witness the event.
And it's just 24 hours away. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to witness the majesty of God's creation as the eyes from the earth look to the heavens. It'll be breathtaking to see the sun covered in its totality, leaving us mere mortals in darkness for over 3 minutes.
Breathtaking indeed. Good morning. I'm Savannah Sellers. I'm so happy to be spending this day with you. Joe Fryer is out this morning. NBC News correspondent Morgan Chesky joins us from his hometown, actually, which is very cool, of Kerrville, Texas, for more on this historic event. Morgan, good morning. So over 30 million people live fully in this path of totality as it stretches across the U.S. But Kerrville, where you're from, where you are, is expected to see the eclipse first. How are they preparing there? What's the buzz like in your hometown? How's it feel to be there?
Yeah, Savannah, good morning. Lots of buzz here in Kerrville, nestled in the heart of the Texas Hill Country. We have 4 minutes and 24 seconds of totality expected here come later this afternoon, but preparations have been in place for months now. The city preparing to potentially quadruple, even quintuple in size, with people converging on the town to witness that rare phenomena when you have that moon perfectly blocking the sun. And we are going to be in that path of totality, rain or shine. Of course, there is a lot of discussion about the weather here. We have cloud cover right now, a little sprinkling, but Savannah, I can tell you, anyone who knows Texas weather at all knows that you don't make any strong predictions until really a few minutes before the actual event is taking place. So we have plenty of time for the sun to burn through some of that cloud cover and hopefully give thousands of people here at Louise Hayes Park a picture perfect or close to it view of that 4 minutes and 24 seconds of totality. Keep in mind, Savannah, that the moon will make first contact with the sun and start to slide over it at about 12:55 local time. So the countdown most definitely on here. Savannah?
Texas is just one of the states that's going to face this risk of severe weather, that cloudiness that could potentially impact what people are able to see. Is that what you're thinking is going to happen where you are at all, or no?
Yeah, very good question. So there is a chance for cloud cover here, although important to note, if those clouds are higher and not low-hanging clouds, you can still get a great view of the eclipse. And in some cases, it'll, make those flares coming off the sun look even more dazzling to the eye, as long as you have, of course, those eclipse glasses. We do know that there are some isolated thunderstorms not expected to roll in until after that moment of totality. And that's good news for the tens of thousands of people expected here at the park. There are food trucks here. They have a stage set up for a band, and I'm just a stone's throw from where NASA is setting up. Kerrville, one of a handful of cities that scientists chose strictly because of its time in totality, Savannah. That 4 minutes and 24 seconds really going to be about the longest we'll see in the continental United States. To the south in Mexico, there are areas that'll see 4 minutes and 28 seconds, and that it's going to be the longest for this great North American eclipse that everyone has been counting down to for such a long time. Fingers crossed for the weather here, though, Savannah. We still have a few hours, though, for things to, clear up.
There we go. Let's hope so. Exactly. Fingers are certainly crossed for you and anybody else in that path. So tell us, Morgan, if you are lucky enough to be in the path of totality, tell people what they can expect, because I think it's a little bit more of a moment than I think people might recognize, at least from people I've been talking to, people who call themselves eclipse chasers, who go all over the world trying to catch that moment of totality. What's it like when that happens?
Yeah, Savannah, this will be my second eclipse. My first was actually on board a plane that intersected an eclipse over the ocean, and I would love to say that it was an emotional moment, but back then I was so concerned about getting that perfect shot of the eclipse in the camera that I really didn't take time to soak up and absorb this incredible celestial phenomenon. That's what I'm looking forward to today. We know that as the moon completely blocks the sun's light, we are able to actually remove our eclipse glasses or drop our eclipse visors and witness that time in totality, during which you can see some prominences come off of the sun in the corona, that outer atmosphere of the sun, or flares extend out past the edge of the moon. Really just incredible to witness. But to your point, people who witnessed this have said it's surreal, it's spiritual. Those others just say this is just plain cool to be in that exact place at that exact time to witness this moment. My favorite stat is this, Savannah. 50% of people, when they witness their first total solar eclipse, they are brought to tears. This is my second one, but somehow I still feel that I will be in an emotional camp here. Time will tell.
There you go. Crying on television like a real man. Morgan Chesky, thank you so much. Enjoy your day. Have fun in your hometown. We'll talk to you in a little bit. Well, the weather is important every day, but as we were just discussing, for millions of people, you got a little bit more riding on it today. Let's check in on your forecast. Michelle Grossman is in studio with us. Michelle, tell us, how's it going to be today for people?
Good morning, Savannah. I know such a big day, and cloud forecasts are so difficult, especially when you're getting down to 4-minute time span. So let's take a look at that, path of totality, because we'll go up and down the cities and kind of pinpoint what we think will happen. Let's go around the clock here, though. The northern plains, clouds, rain, and snow, that should start to wind down later on this afternoon. The plains to the Midwest, just a few clouds, looking better there. Then we're looking at the Gulf to the Great Lakes. Not great, because we have a cold front that's going to bring some showers, some storms, plenty of cloud cover all the way along that span. East Coast, we're looking at mostly sunny skies, looking really nice. A little caveat, as Morgan sort of alluded to where he is, we're going to see some high clouds streaming in as we go throughout the day. So that's going to dim some of the eclipse, but still no worries there. So let's go through some of the cities. Morgan, he covered it for us. Jay Gray's in Junction, Texas. We're going to see the chance for some showers. 70% cloud cover. That's at 1:32 Central Time. Al, our friend, along with Priscilla in Dallas, Texas, we're looking at 60% cloud cover. And then as we go a little bit further to the north, some spots looking a little bit better than others. That would be in Indianapolis. A little touch and go with the forecast there. We're looking Lester and Tom Castello there at 306. Looking at 50% cloud cover. That should be okay. Same story in Bloomington, Indiana. Looking really good where Chase Canyon's going to be in Little Rock, Arkansas at 30%. And then we have some dicey forecasts in portions of New York, Brockport, where Ryan Nobles is going to be. 80% cloud cover, 40% in Cleveland with Jesse Kirsch, and also Chris Jansen. Cleveland had an epic weekend with the women's basketball tournament as well. Then we're looking at Kate Snow. Kate Snow got the best spot to be, because she's looking at 0% cloud cover, will be perfect in northern New England. Temperatures are going to be nice in the 60s, so a really nice viewing area there. That's going to be right around 3:32. So let's take a look at what happens during an eclipse, because it really is so interesting. And it really, like Morgan said, some feel it's spiritual, kind of shows you how vast the universe is. But temperatures may drop during the eclipse as it gets dark. Could drop 10 degrees in some spots. Also, dropping temperatures could decrease cloud cover. So that would be good news, at least for some of that 4-minute time period. Relative humidity increases, and reduced solar radiation can cause winds to come. So there's, stories that the animals can feel it, that we can feel that difference. So it will be really fun as we go throughout the afternoon hours. But we do need to talk about the severe risk also, because I want you to give a heads up here. You need your tornado plan in place. That's in portions of the southern plains this afternoon and overnight. It looks like it will happen after the eclipse, but still could see some showers during this. 16 million people at risk. We are talking about large hail, up to softball size hail. That is damaging on its own. Winds gusting up to 60 miles per hour. A few tornadoes are possible, especially in that orange area. That's an enhanced risk. Also yellow, so Abilene, Dallas, Shreveport, San Angelo, San Antonio, you could see lots of activity there. Also looking at the chance, Savannah, for flooding rains. This is a 2-day event, so training rains will bring the chance for some flooding in that area as well.
All right, got to keep those things in mind, even though there's an eclipse going on today.
Yeah, you got to remember that.
Yeah, Michelle, thank you so much.
Sure.
Well, Eileen Collins joins us now with more on the eclipse and what you need to know. She is a former NASA astronaut, space shuttle commander, and author of Through the Glass Ceiling. to the stars. So just a couple qualifications there to talk with us this morning. Eileen, thank you very much for joining us. So just tell us, why do you think, and in your experience, explain to us why this eclipse is so special?
Well, solar eclipses are very rare. I was fortunate enough to view one myself back in 1991. I was in Hawaii, and it actually got quite cool out. The sky, the area around me seemed to turn kind of gray, and we didn't even have a total. I think it was something like, it might have been 99% or something like that. But these are very rare. In fact, I live here in South Texas, and I'm going to, after this talk that we're having here, I'm going to get in my car with some friends, and we're heading out west to Uvalde, Texas, which is at the very southernmost area of today's eclipse. And we're going to view it from there. I'm hearing good news that the clouds are going to break.
Oh, that is great news. We're hoping for that for anybody with that concern today. So there are also these great learning opportunities, right, during an eclipse for scientists. What can actually be studied during an eclipse?
Well, I think primarily scientists want to study the sun's corona. So the corona is the outer part of, where the sun's rays are extending out into the solar system. And this is a rare opportunity. So the scientists will not only be studying from the ground, but NASA is going to launch some sounding rockets out of Wallops, which is an area, a NASA center in Virginia. I think they're going to launch, several of these. And the key thing for them is to get above the atmosphere, because they can get a much clearer view without the, obviously getting above the clouds, but also getting above any humidity or atmosphere. So it's so important for us to understand the sun. I mean, obviously every day the sun rises and it gives us heat, it gives us light, our crops grow, and we have to have the sun, obviously, in our everyday life, but the sun changes, it's in a cycle. And there's short cycles and there's long cycles. And this gives the NASA scientists an opportunity to study that. Oh, one other thing, even during the partial eclipse, they can see sunspots a little bit better than they could see without the eclipse. So this is a great opportunity. And I know scientists around the country are going to be traveling to the eclipse to do these studies.
So cool. Eileen, there's also a crew of astronauts on the International Space Station right now. Tell us their experience. What does this look like for astronauts in space versus how we see the eclipse here on Earth? Tell us how they're preparing.
Oh, so to me, this is very exciting. I wish I was up there. So the space station has something called a cupola, and it's like a small room on the space station that has windows all the way around, and they can look straight down at the Earth. They get a nadir view. Now, they will see a shadow, like a small black circle that is moving along that eclipse path that you showed earlier. The eclipse moves at about on the ground about 1,000 miles an hour. I mean, it varies depending on the where it is, but let's say it's at an average of 1,000 miles an hour. So it's moving very, very fast. But the space station is also moving fast. That it's something like 18,000 miles an hour. So the timing has to be just right. So the way I understand it, the last I heard, the astronauts will see part of the eclipse from space, and they will photograph it and film it. So I'm hoping to see what they see afterwards. And the shadow is very, very small. So they're going to have to zoom in on it, and I'm anxious to see what will come from it. You can also see that from an airplane. If you go up in an airplane, you can look down and see the sun's shadow, which is something I've never seen, but I think that's going to be very exciting.
Oh, yeah. I know there are a couple flights today specifically that are almost sort of eclipse chasing, which is what a neat perspective to see this from. Eileen Collins, thank you so much. Enjoy today. Have a safe drive out to Uvalde.
Thanks.
Well, for more on how to stay safe during the eclipse, we are now joined by Dr. Sarah Kinof, an optometrist at Studio Optics here in New York. In fact, right in our building here at 30 Rock. Good morning. Thank you so much for joining us. So millions of people, right, are going to be looking up at the skies this afternoon, trying to see this eclipse. And remind us exactly what it is that we need to do to keep our eyes safe, why it's important to not look directly at this eclipse, no matter how exciting, unless you have those specific glasses.
Good morning. It is so exciting. But the real damage can happen to the retina, and that's irreversible, because the light of the sun can absolutely just burn through that retina, and the retina doesn't really regenerate. And so we want to protect that retina at all costs.
And if you are in the path of totality, you can actually take these glasses off once there is that moment of totality. Is that right?
That is correct. Only in that moment of totality. But if we're not in the path of totality, it's really kind of scary because on a very, very bright day, we understand that it hurts to look at the sun. But on a day when there's this eclipse and a lot of the sun is blocked, we think, oh, it's okay to take off our glasses. But in fact, it's really not, because even a few seconds of that sunlight can burn the retina, and that's very, very dangerous.
So let's talk about these glasses. Our viewers are watching. It's kind of this mesmerizing video, actually, of all these glasses being made. Kind of an incredible process to
Yes.
see so much of.
Yes.
Tell us exactly what the right ones look like, because there are,
Yes.
Unfortunately, knockoffs and things like that out there that actually you might think, hey, great, I got these things on. They're actually not offering the proper protection at all. How can you make sure that you've got the right ones?
Right. So first of all, they're really, really dark. When you put them on, you actually can almost see nothing, which is kind of crazy. But the second thing that you're going to look for is something that says ISO on it. And, that's the international board that governs this. But the other thing is, somebody can just write that on a pair of glasses. So just get them from a reputable source. That's really the most important thing.
And for those unable to get a pair of glasses, there's something called a pinhole projector, a way to kind of try and do this on your own. How can we make one and then also use one safely?
Yeah, that's a great question. First of all, I just want to say I love your shirt. I'm sure it was on purpose. But it's
It was on purpose. Thanks for noticing. Even though stars really are not in the equation here, it's just celestial.
It's awesome. Starry night, it's all good. And so that's a really good question. That's called indirect viewing. And what that is essentially you take you can look on YouTube. There's about 1 million videos. You can take a piece of cardboard and then they tell you to put a piece of tinfoil and then punch a hole. And what you're doing is with the eclipse to your back, you're going to let the eclipse go through that teeny tiny hole, which is basically a pinhole, and it focuses the image of the eclipse, and you're going to see it like on the floor or on a piece of something else. So you're not looking directly at the eclipse, you're looking at a pinhole view of this. And so you're just seeing it that way so that there's no damage to your retina. It's probably not as fun as seeing it with the glasses, but it's definitely a way to do it if you don't have the glasses.
And an important reminder, that does not mean that you look through the pinhole at the sun. It's that
Correct.
to create
not
that shadow where you're kind of going to see, whatever that sort of crescent shape looks like.
Right.
Dr. Sarah
Right.
Kinof, thank you so much. Great to have you on.
It's a
Enjoy
pleasure.
today.
Thanks for having me, and thanks so much, and enjoy the eclipse.
Thank you. You too.
Have a great day.
And now our own meteorologist, Angie Lassman, is going to break down the science of a total solar eclipse and tell us how we can expect it to play out across the U.S.
A solar eclipse occurs when the moon passes directly between the Earth and the sun, and the moon blocks the sun for a viewer on Earth. During a total eclipse, the moon lines up perfectly to fully obscure the sun, resulting in totality. The result is a shadow that will cross North America from Mexico to Canada. This is why the 2024 eclipse event will be known as the Great North American Eclipse. It starts as the moon slowly obscures more and more of the sun. As it progresses, the surroundings take on an unusual hue, and shadows become crisp and detailed. As the sun dwindles to a slender crescent, as seen through eclipse glasses, daylight dims and shimmering shadow bands and crescent-shaped shadows might dance across the landscape. Then comes totality, when the soft wisps of the solar corona surround a huge hole where the sun used to be. The solar corona is the outer part of the sun's atmosphere. This corona, normally hidden by the sun's brilliance, becomes visible during a total solar eclipse when the moon completely blocks the sun's surface. You find yourself in an eerie twilight, surrounded by a spellbinding sunset glow. Finally, totality ends, and the sequence unfolds in reverse. Now let's take you through the timeline of how the solar eclipse will sweep across North America. The path of totality will sweep over parts of 15 U.S. states, starting in Texas and ending in Maine. The whole event will take about 2.5 hours for the shadow to make its way from the Pacific Ocean across North America and over the North Atlantic Ocean. To witness the event, you'll need to be within the 108 to 122 mile wide path of totality. But don't worry, if you're not, you'll still see quite the show, with a partial eclipse visible from nearly everywhere in the United States. But some places will see it better than others. For cities in the path like Dallas, Indianapolis, Cleveland, and Buffalo, totality will last approximately 4 minutes. During those minutes of totality, you might notice a slight temperature drop and a change in the behavior of any nearby wildlife. The mesmerizing moments of a total solar eclipse along a narrow path for just a few minutes make it one of nature's rarest firsthand experiences.
All right, Angie, that was so cool. And what a feat of that green screen. It looked like you were really up there. Thank you for that. Well, we will, of course, have special live coverage of the total solar eclipse from the entire NBC News team. We will be across the country. I will be here in New York City, hopefully on top of a building. Our extended live coverage gets underway today at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, 11 a.m. Pacific, right here on NBC News Now. We'll also be on NBC. We'll also have live updates throughout the day on NBCnews.com. Don't go anywhere. We have got you covered for this. Well, coming up, Israel's assault on Gaza seems to be headed in a new direction 6 months into its war with Hamas. We've got the latest on the ground as ceasefire talks stall. Stay with us. Welcome back on Capitol Hill this morning. Lawmakers will return after a 2-week recess with quite a bit on their to-do list, from the fight over funding for Ukraine and Israel to Marjorie Taylor Greene's push to oust fellow Republican House Speaker Mike Johnson. We've got a lot of ground to cover. Let's bring in NBC News Capitol Hill correspondent Ali Vitale. She is here to break it all down. Ali, great to see you. Great job anchoring, by the way, this weekend. Caught some of that. You're fantastic. Thank you for joining us early on a Monday morning. So we've got a lot to watch for this week. Let's start with Israel, which we were just talking about. Some Democrats are pushing for military aid to be halted, while others want it to be conditional. Yeah. This has been the sticking point for quite some time now. What can we expect today?
This is a sticking point that's only getting stickier. I think the benefit of working the weekend, Savannah, is that I was able to get us a few answers going into this week, but none of them make it any less messy for what Congress is about to come back to. What we've seen over the course of the last few days is several Democrats, especially on the House side, saying that they want conditional aid placed on the military aid given to Israel, that in light of the situation on the ground in Gaza. Even some of those members, though, including Speaker Emerita Nancy Pelosi, but also Senator Chris Coons, both of whom had publicly waded into the waters on at least considering the idea of contingency on military aid, then walked it back and basically said, you know what, the Biden administration is going to handle this the way that they're going to handle this. We don't think that aid should be conditional, at least not right now, but we are aware that the situation on the ground in Gaza is very dire. Look, all of this paints a picture, Savannah, of the fact that Israel aid is one of those things that it could get a vote, but this is not going to be one of those regular party line things where you see all Republicans and all Democrats lining up behind each other. It's going to be really messy. There's a lot of splintering within the Democratic Party, especially over this issue right now.
Absolutely. And then let's also talk Ukraine, right? Military aid there as well. Speaker Mike Johnson has suggested the House could take up the issue, but given how divided Republicans have been on sending more resources to Ukraine as well, just like we discussed with Israel, does this have enough support to pass?
That is also an open question because, look, right now there is a supplemental package that you and I have been talking about for several weeks now. The Senate passed it in hopes that the House would take it up. That supplemental aid package has aid for Ukraine, for Israel, and Taiwan. This is something that's already passed the Senate. It's why several key House members have told me it is the only option, just procedurally, to get this aid out the door, especially to a country like Ukraine, where President Zelensky has said consistently he needs that continued support from his greatest ally, the United States. That pressure, of course, still palpable from Israel as well. But the supplemental package has a lot of problems within it, especially because while you have some Republicans who might want to vote for Israel aid, they do not want to vote for Ukraine aid. You've got Democrats who say they want to vote for Ukraine aid, but not Israel aid. When you package it all up, it really does allow people to weigh which one might be more important to them. And it's why we're expecting it to be a very messy party line vote if that is the thing that is voted on. And I say if because Speaker Mike Johnson, well aware of the fact that his conference is very mad at him for a myriad number of reasons, he is aware of the fact that he may have to just move on these piece by piece. But if he brings up a Ukraine aid vote, that could trigger that old motion to vacate, which frankly, every lawmaker I know is quietly living in fear of right now. And most reporters, I have to say as well, that's something that's looming over all of this. It's not just a funding fight. It's also the question of, does Mike Johnson keep his job?
You don't want to sleep at the Capitol, Allie, as we watch votes happen over and over.
You know,
and
I
over
do
again.
love sleeping at the Capitol, and I basically pay rent there now, but no.
Allie Vitale, thank you so much. Well, Sunday marks 6 months since Hamas militants launched their attack on Israel, killing more than 1,200 people and taking hundreds more hostage. Since then, Gazans have paid a heavy price as Israel continues towards its stated goal of eliminating Hamas from the region. According to the health ministry in Gaza, more than 33,000 people have been killed in the Palestinian enclave. Millions have been displaced and are now facing starvation, famine, and illness. Frustrations over the conflict are growing. Over the weekend, tens of thousands took to the streets of Tel Aviv to demand Netanyahu's resignation and the return of the hostages. Israeli military officials announced they are pulling troops from southern Gaza to carry out new operations, including a planned ground assault in Rafah. International leaders are sounding the alarm, urging for an end to this war and a plan to rebuild a decimated Gaza. NBC News correspondent Hala Garani joins me now from Tel Aviv with the latest. Hala, good morning. Thank you for being here. So when this war began, Prime Minister Netanyahu had pretty broad public and international support when it came to holding Hamas accountable for the October 7th attack. How has that support changed over the last 6 months, maybe even just the last week or so? Where do Israel relations stand right now with some of its closest allies?
So some of the closest allies of the Israeli government and Israel as a nation have for several months now sounded the alarm on the extent of the destruction, the civilian displacement and suffering that has taken place in Gaza over the last half a year. We've heard it even from Israel's closest ally, the United States, with President Biden essentially warning against an all-out ground offensive in Rafah, where more than 1 million people are sheltering now to try to flee, to try to run away from some of the heaviest bombardment in the north and in the central part of the Gaza Strip. But some pretty significant developments, though, over the weekend that you lined out there in your intro to me. The Israeli military is withdrawing some of its forces from the south, concentrating them in the north. They're saying that they will still be conducting targeted operations in the south. They certainly will still be using air power. Those American-supplied 2,000 bombs will still be used. Those have been linked to mass civilian casualties. So that will still be taking place. But one has to wonder if after the pretty tense conversation that took place between President Biden and Benjamin Netanyahu a few days ago, there seems to be some sort of course change coming from the Israeli government. We're also keeping our eye on talks that are taking place in Cairo. They've broken up now. There are conflicting reports about whether or not we can expect a breakthrough. Egyptian media are quoting some of the participants as saying, we're pretty close, though Hamas representatives have left saying that they don't believe that they're any closer to a deal, that the two positions, the two parties are still very far apart. And I should mention one other very important thing. After that phone call between Mr. Biden and Benjamin Netanyahu, there was a promise to open the Erez crossing in the north to allow more aid into the northern part of the Strip, where aid groups are saying that people there are near famine, are in near famine conditions. That has not happened. 3 or 4 days later, we're still keeping our eye on that. And the ministry in charge of facilitating those aid deliveries and the opening of that crossing are not giving us any details about when that is likely to happen. Savannah.
And Hala, when you mentioned negotiations and where we're at, is there any hope of hostages being released soon?
So that's all tied into the hostage release, the ceasefire, all of those things go together. So once a ceasefire is agreed upon, there will be room, there will be oxygen and space for a hostage negotiation operation to take place, similar to the one our viewers may remember that took place last November, that led to the release of mainly women and younger hostages. So that is the hope. But the other aspect of that is to allow for more aid in not just food, medical supplies, humanitarian organizations. You'll remember after the World Central Kitchen strike that killed 7 of their workers, many humanitarian organizations suspended their operations, and that has really put a lot of pressure on local groups to distribute the small amount of food supplies that they have. Savannah.
All right, Hala Gurani, thank you so much for joining us. Coming up, it is lights out for parts of North America. We're continuing our build-up of today's total solar eclipse with a look at how Texas is preparing for the phenomenon. That's up next. We are back now with the latest on the countdown to the total eclipse. While more than 31 million people across the U.S. are in the path of totality, there may be no better place to see what's called this astronomical conjunction between the sun, moon, and Earth than in Junction, Texas. That's where NBC News correspondent Jay Gray is this morning. He joins us with more on this historic day. Jay, good morning.
Savannah, good morning to you. And you're right. We're in the Texas Hill Country right now where this astronomical drama is expected to play out in the next several hours here. Of course, if you've got a drama, you've got to have a villain. And playing that role right now is the forecast because we could see some heavy clouds.
The eclipse begins its U.S. journey in Texas and in the heart of the Hill Country. History getting a proper Lone Star welcome. Riding and roping, picking and grinning, a washers tournament, and sipping Eclipse wine from a Texas vineyard. The TexClip Festival turning the eclipse into a 3-day celebration.
For those that are coming for the eclipse, we wanted to give them something to do while they're here.
Games, goods, even local royalty gathering outside the county courthouse. Eclipse chasers coming from across the country and around the world, hoping for that rare glimpse of the moon aligning with the sun, completely blocking its powerful rays.
It's incredible. It's something you remember your whole life.
The path of totality moves from the Pacific to the Atlantic across 15 states, home to more than 31 million. But forecasters warn a big part of that path could be covered in clouds. The Exploratorium Museum in San Francisco, teaming with NASA, will stream the event live across the globe. And after 2 years of research and planning, their telescopes and cameras are surrounded by bluebonnets and hay bales, betting on clear skies in Junction.
We studied the weather maps, we talked to weather folks, and it turns out this is the best place in the United States in terms of weather.
Everyone along the path of the eclipse hoping they'll be left in the dark in just a few hours.
Yeah, and look, it's a very unofficial update on the conditions, but Savannah, I'm looking up the sky and you can still see the stars here, so that's good news, still clear. And we've seen the forecast get a little better maybe, or it's wishful thinking over the last 24 hours. The partial eclipse will begin here at 12:14 Central Time. We move into totality at 1:32 with more than 3 full minutes of darkness. Savannah, I'm just hopeful I get to use these glasses a bit later today. Let's keep those clouds away.
I know. I think you'll be okay. I spoke with some eclipse chasers, too, who said even with some cloud cover, you can still kind of see that corona of the sun. So hopefully you're good. Jay Gray, enjoy it. Thank you so much. We've heard a lot about the power of a total solar eclipse and what it does to people. Well, last week we told you, as I just mentioned, about a group of people who go around chasing total eclipses, trying to experience as many as possible. Dr. Kate Russo is a clinical psychologist and an eclipse chaser. She joins us now from Leakey, Texas, which is right in the path of totality. Good morning, doctor. Thank you so much for joining us. So I understand you've experienced 10 total eclipses, and actually, interestingly, a couple of them blocked by clouds, which we'd probably want to hear about today just to understand what that's like, since many people may experience that. First, I just have to ask, what is so powerful about a total eclipse?
Well, I've actually seen 13 total solar eclipses over a period of about 24 years. Yeah. They really are the most amazing, remarkable, truly amazing experiences you can have. It's It's a fully immersive event. So it's not something that we just see, you know, like a supermoon, you step outside and have a look. It's actually something that's very immersive. And I say that it happens above you, around you, and within you, because there's so much to see. The visuals are amazing. You know, when you see the moon completely blocking the sun, you see the outer corona. We understand the significance of the scale of the universe. We might see the brightest, the planets and some brighter stars, but it happens around you because the temperature drops and the wind picks up, and you know, like you can hear the changes in birds, and our shadows become eerie, the light changes. And then in those moments before totality, it's just like someone puts a dimmer switch down over a period of a minute or so, because things happen so rapidly and it gets quite dark. And that incoming shadow puts the hair on the back of your neck standing up. And I always get goosebumps because it's like this ominous thing coming towards you. And then you've in totality. And here in, I'm going to be in Garner State Park in Texas. We're going to have 4 minutes and 26 seconds of totality. So that's a long time. And then as soon as it's over, we actually are left with this really strong feeling of, you know, like, when is the next one? Because it really does change the way we think about the world. We feel insignificant. We feel part of something greater. It's phenomenal. And you just have to get into the path of totality to experience it for yourself.
Oh. So exciting for people who have not seen it to have this to look forward to this afternoon. So as I mentioned, a couple of the times that you've seen an eclipse, tell me if this is right, that they were actually blocked by clouds. There are large portions, of course, of today's path that are expected to have at least some cloud cover, some worse than others. What do you think? I mean, do you have any advice for people in those areas? And just tell us, is it still worth the experience? Can you still see something that's sort of transformative in a way?
Yes, I've been blocked 2 times. The first time was actually in China, and a lot of chasers were blocked there. We position ourselves to give us the best chance of seeing the total solar eclipse. So when we're expecting clear skies, and then we're blocked, it's a bit of a challenge. The second time I was clouded out was in 2015 in the Faroe Islands. We were expecting to be clouded out, so that's a different scenario. Now, here in Texas, many of us chose Texas because historically it had the best chances of clear skies in the US along the path. And here we are finding ourselves a little bit under cloud this morning. So there's a lot of chasers who actually have further, you know, diverted away from trying to get outside of the clouds. I've chosen to stay in Garner State Park. And even though we know and we're expecting cloud, we're actually hoping for little pockets of clarity in that. Now, if it's cloudy and we can't see the sky, what's going to happen is that you won't see the things above you. You won't be able to see the corona. That's the main feature of the eclipse. We're not going to be able to see the diamond ring, the Bailey's beads. We're not going to see the darkness of the sky. But we will feel the things around us. We will feel the temperature drop. We will feel the changes in the environment, the nature, the birds, we will see the light. And under cloud, it will actually become even more darker. So I think we're in for a really dark experience. And if we look around the horizon, you will see 360-degree sunset, which is a really good feature. So you can still see that even if we're cloudy. And of course, it just makes us feel so incredibly connected to everybody else. So we're all here. And I know that when we're standing there waiting for the clouds to part, we're all going to be really united and connected, and we're all going to be screaming just sort of like in excitement when we do get glimpses of it. So fingers crossed for us.
Absolutely. And I know that you love this so much. You've actually written a book about it called Being in the Shadow, Stories of the First Time Total Eclipse Experience, something that a lot of people are going to get to experience for the first time today as this crosses over where so many Americans live. Very exciting. Doctor, thank you so much. Best of luck. Crossing our fingers for that cloud cover for you. But thank you for making people excited about it nonetheless. Great to have you.
Clear skies for everybody else. Thank you.
Absolutely. Well, many of us, of course, have been preparing, discussing, patiently waiting for the eclipse for months now. But for animals, right, the eclipse will come as a complete surprise. Reporter David Guildford from our Portland, Maine affiliate takes a closer look at animal behavior on this unique day.
Monday afternoon, we'll stop and look at the sky. But we're not the only creatures experiencing the eclipse. Pineland Farms in New Gloucester is home to an assortment of animals.
We have cows, we have horses.
Hi, Mr. Tango.
We have chickens. We have peafowl. We have sheep and goats.
All live pretty comfortably here, and they've never experienced something like an eclipse before. Education Director Catherine Anderson is watching for any weirdness, but suspects the animals, chickens in particular, might just head for bed.
They go into their roosting spot, climb up off the ground, and get ready for the night. So if that happens, that might be really cool.
It might be a different story in the woods.
And the wildlife around us are going to be a part of that experience. So that's the part that I think is really neat.
Zach Olson is a UNE animal behavior professor. The longest it'll be dark in Maine is just under 3.5 minutes. But in that time, he said, nocturnal animals might stir about. Olson is most excited to watch out for one animal in particular.
I'm going to be listening for owls. I would love to hear an owl announce itself during totality. I think that'd be really cool.
As for humans, Pineland sold about 60 tickets to folks who will use the farm's sledding hill to take in the eclipse, while keeping an eye out for our furry friends.
I mean, I would love to say that something really neat would happen, like the goats would stand up and walk on their back legs, but to be honest, I don't think it's going to be that dramatic.
Something fun to watch for there. Thanks to David Guildford from WCSH for that report. Coming up, can the Republicans hold on to the Electoral College advantage they've had in the last 2 presidential elections? Well, we will take a look at the scenarios that could determine who wins this year's vote. That's next. Welcome back. It's been 20 years since the last time a Republican candidate for president won the popular vote, but the GOP has maintained an Electoral College advantage in the last 2 elections, and that could play a major role in how close the upcoming election might be. That is the subject of a new article on NBCnews.com written by our friend, our very own senior political editor, Mark Murray. And this morning, Mark is joining us to discuss. Mark, thanks so much for making time for us. So in your article, you outline 2 different scenarios that could explain where the 2024 election stands right now. Talk us through those scenarios.
Yeah, Savannah, scenario number 1 is essentially all the poll numbers that you and I have been talking about. But this is essentially a 50-50 race between President Biden and former President Donald Trump. In the battlegrounds and the national polls, that this is essentially a coin flip. But scenario number 2 is that President Biden could actually end up being trailing former President Donald Trump by more than the national poll suggests. And that goes to the Electoral College advantage that Republicans have held in the last 2 presidential cycles. In 2016, for example, Hillary Clinton won the popular vote by 2 percentage points, but still lost the Electoral College. And in 2020, Joe Biden won the popular vote by 4.5 percentage points and ended up getting the same number of Electoral College votes that Donald Trump got 4 years earlier, 306. And if that trend continues, and that's the part of the exploration in my article, that maybe the thinking would go that President Biden needs to win the popular vote by 4, 5, 6 percentage points to be able to get the 270 needed, 270 Electoral College votes to win the presidency.
And so what's the case for the GOP maintaining its Electoral College edge?
Yeah, there are 2 reasons why Republicans in the Trump era have had an Electoral College edge. Number 1, Donald Trump has overperformed among white working class voters, particularly those in those Midwest and Rust Belt battleground states, places like Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania. The other reason for the advantage has been that Democrats have done well, really well, in states like California and New York, states that are already going to go blue, but have won them by more than they have in previous election, which has boosted up the national popular vote in the direction of the Democratic Party.
And Mark, quickly, the inverse of that. How could the GOP lose this Electoral College edge?
Yeah, Savannah, and this is what's really fascinating. A lot of the polls that we've discussed over the past year or 2 have actually shown that Donald Trump is doing better with Latinos, some African Americans, and that actually gives some election analysts the thought that maybe that Electoral College advantage has reduced because no longer Donald Trump has that huge advantage among white working class voters, but instead might actually be doing places better in California and New York. He might not actually win them, but they might not be the same margins that we saw in 2016 and 2020. In Savannah, we're actually, to see if this trend continues, we're going to have to wait for the election results 7 months from now. That's when we'll get the definitive answer.
There you go. Mark Murray, as always, thank you. Let's get you some financial headlines now, starting with what is coming up this week on Wall Street. CNBC's Silvana Henao joins us with the latest money news. Silvana, good morning.
Hey, Savannah, good morning to you. Well, Wall Street is looking to break out as the markets come off a losing week, with the Dow suffering its worst performance since March of last year. Now, in focus this week for investors, we get a pair of key reports on inflation with consumer and producer prices. Plus, the Federal Reserve has said they want to see more evidence inflation is coming down before they start to cut interest rates. Also this week, earnings season kicks off with results from JPMorgan Chase, Citigroup, Wells Fargo, and Delta Airlines. Lawmakers have struck a bipartisan deal on a data privacy bill that would restrict what information tech companies can collect from consumers. It also would give Americans the power to prevent their data from being sold to third parties. The agreement between Democratic Senator Maria Cantwell, who chairs the Commerce Committee, and Representative Kathy McMorris Rogers, the Republican chair of the House Energy and Commerce Committee, would also require firms to disclose if users' data has been transferred to a foreign adversary. And Mark Zuckerberg is now richer than Elon Musk for the first time since 2020. Musk falling to a 4th place on the Bloomberg Billionaires Index after Reuters reported Tesla canceled plans for a less expensive car, sending the stock lower. Tesla also reporting its first year-over-year decline in deliveries in 4 years. Zuckerberg has added nearly $60 billion to his fortune as Meta stock is at record highs. He now trails only LVMH CEO Bernard Arnault and Amazon founder Jeff Bezos. Savannah, how about that?
There you go. Savannah, thank you so much.
You got it.
Coming up, perfect season, perfect team. The South Carolina Gamecocks take home their 3rd NCAA championship, beating the Iowa Hawkeyes in an epic game, wrapping up an undefeated season. We've got the details up next. Welcome back. Bill Nye, the science guy, is now Bill Nye, the flyest guy. Wait till you see these pictures. The longtime scientist ditched his usual bow tie, served all these certain kind of vibes in his new cover photo shoot with Time Out New York. He posted the pics on Instagram featuring the headline, "The Eclipse is Nigh." Now, while we might have a new look, Nye will always be our science guy. This whole celestial drip features a wide range of certified solar eclipse glasses, reminding everyone watching today to do so both fashionably and safely. Here we go. I know y'all are really jealous that I get to put these over my regular glasses and be 6 size. Isn't that really cute? Make sure you've got those if you're going to look. Well, after one of the biggest years in women's college basketball history, the University of South Carolina Gamecocks are now the queens of the dance. The team capped off a perfect, undefeated season in Cleveland last night, besting Caitlin Clark and the Iowa Hawkeyes in a thrilling March Madness championship matchup. This is now South Carolina's 2nd title in just the past 3 seasons. This morning, we've got Kavitha Davidson with us. She is a sports writer and the co-author of Loving Sports When They Don't Love You Back, Dilemmas of the Modern Fan. Kavitha, always wonderful to have you with us. Thank you for joining us this morning. So this is this big-time rematch, right? Fans are really looking forward to. One South Carolina player even called it a revenge tour after Iowa defeated the Gamecocks last year in the Final Four. Walk us through this historic season for the national champs.
Yeah, I mean, South Carolina has just been absolutely dominant. And if you look at what they've been able to do, they lost all of their starters from last year. But Dawn Staley has just built this incredible dynasty. They've now won 2 out of 3 of the last championships. They have lost a total of 3 games in the last 3 years. And the way they really kill you is with their depth. You know, they have so much scoring spread out. In yesterday's game, they had 9 players with double-digit minutes. Their bench outscored Iowa's by 37-0. And, you know, Raven Johnson on her own little revenge tour after last year being waved off by Caitlin Clark, really coming in and shutting down Caitlin Clark after Clark came out firing with 18 points in the first quarter. It was an incredible game. It was incredible for the sport. And, you know, congratulations to South Carolina, who has just been doing, they've just been doing this all year.
Absolutely. So let's talk Caitlin Clark. So her college career ends with this painful loss, back-to-back finals. But she, of course, is expected to be the top pick in the upcoming WNBA draft. Even broke some records yesterday with her scoring. Walk us through just her legacy. No matter whether she won yesterday, doesn't win yesterday, what just stands out to you, and what's the future for Caitlin Clark?
Yeah, I mean, look, Caitlin Clark, all of the accolades are there. She's obviously the greatest scorer the sport has ever seen. And what she's really been able to do for the sport, being the face, garnering national consciousness. You know, Dawn Staley yesterday after the game thanked her for lifting up the sport. But I think those of us who have followed women's basketball, Caitlin Clark included, will be the first to point out that the talent has always been there and the superstars have always been there. But what hasn't been there is the access. And now that these games and these athletes are being featured and put on television, someone like Caitlin Clark was able to capture national attention, and that will be her legacy.
Let's talk about the men's, of course. Final tonight. Excitement's not over quite yet. So Purdue and UConn, two fan favorites. What can we expect when they tip off tonight?
Yeah, I actually see a lot of similarities between these two teams than in the women's game. You have UConn, who is so dominant and so deep. You know, they've won 11 straight tournament games by double digits. And then over on Purdue, you have one of the greatest college players we've ever seen in Zach Edey. This is going to come down to a battle of the big men. Edey for Purdue versus Donovan Clingan in UConn. And Clingan, you know, again, just he can dominate down low so well, but UConn also surrounds him with players who are all perimeter threats. UConn is 5-0 in title games, and this is only Purdue's second. I do think this will be closer than most people think, but, you know, I have my money on UConn.
Hey, Kavitha, by the way, just with the excitement that we saw around women's basketball this year, the viewership records, by the way, that we saw broken, men's or women's, by some of these games this season, do you think that next year we could see the women's final actually in prime time?
I think, you know, a lot of people after yesterday's game were calling for this game to have been played at 6 p.m. Eastern instead of 3. I think that makes a lot of sense. Those are some of the programming decisions that women's sports have been fighting for years, frankly. But as you see, when these games are on in prime time, people watch. You know, 14.2 million people tuned in to watch the Final Four. So I do think there's a hope that that some better decisions on the prime time timing of the national championship game will come next year.
Absolutely. Kavitha Davidson, thank you so much. Been fun to talk with you through this. That's going to do it for this hour of Morning News Now. Stay with us, though. The news continues right now. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us on a very special Monday. It's Eclipse Day. I'm Savannah Sellers. Joe has the morning off. So today is the day we're just hours away from a historic, out-of-this-world experience, a total solar eclipse. 31 million people in 15 states are directly in what's called the path of totality. They'll get the best view, and 150 million people are within just 200 miles of that. But as we've been reporting for weeks, even more Americans are packing up and heading out this morning, part of this eclipse travel boom. It's bringing big crowds and a whole lot of tourism cash to the big cities as well as those small towns along the path. Massive celebrations, parties, even weddings are on tap for this once-in-a-lifetime solar showing. And of course, NASA will be keeping a close eye on it all, chasing the eclipse down with high-altitude planes looking to study objects like asteroids that could be orbiting the sun. We have team coverage this morning of everything, and I mean everything you need to know. And we, of course, will tell you how you can keep yourself safe when that daylight darkness hits. Make sure these glasses you've hopefully got by now are the right ones that you actually need. Well, we've got NBC News senior correspondent Tom Castello kicking it all off for us this morning in Indianapolis, Indiana.
Yeah, good morning from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. They are expecting 50,000 people here today, 29 countries, all 50 states, and NASA officially calling this one of their viewing sites, Purdue University, one of the sponsors. It's going to be a phenomenal day. Right now, we're expecting 70 degrees, blue skies, and at the moment, we don't have a cloud in the skies, and the excitement, as you would expect, is building.
Oh, my God!
If you've ever experienced a total eclipse, the ray structure. It's something you never forget.
What a great memory it is. Oh my gosh. I've seen like a moon, the sun.
In 2017, we watched from Charleston, South Carolina.
It was just the most spectacular thing I've ever seen in my life.
Did it live up to expectations?
Absolutely amazing.
Now the sun, the moon, and Earth are again coming into alignment. And here's what's really cool. The sun's outer atmosphere, the corona, will briefly shine shine through. Those bubbling, shooting streams of plasma are 400 times hotter than the sun itself.
You don't really appreciate how much the sun is truly the lord of our solar system, how big on the sky it really is until you get to see that corona.
The eclipse allows scientists to study the corona. Perfect timing because the sun is now at an 11-year peak. It can help them predict future magnetic storms, which can disrupt power grids, communications, and satellites.
And what we're trying to understand is space weather and that constant outflow from the sun of weather that affects us here on Earth and throughout the solar system.
For NASA, a teaching moment.
Viewing any part of the sun without protection, even for a short amount of time, can cause serious eye damage.
31 million people live within the path of totality. 150 million live within 200 miles. Newton Chu and his family have come to Indy from Hawaii. Since 1991, they've seen 3 eclipses.
I think it is a little emotional. I mean, there are people that, you feel that sometimes a little tear in your eye that you're witnessing just some phenomena of nature.
Along the path, police expect highway gridlock.
We were told to compare it to like 30 Super Bowls letting out at the exact same time.
Pennsylvania State Trooper Captain Kirk, yes, that's his real name, Captain Kirk Reese.
Don't stop on the highway to view the eclipse. Don't stop in the roadways. Turn your headlights on. Be safe.
Yeah, bottom line, don't stop on the road to watch the eclipse. Listen, this may be a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity because the next total eclipse doesn't come to the United States until 2044. Good news is that we've got, like I said, good weather here in Indianapolis today. So get your glasses ready. Guys, back to you.
Yeah, all right. You are lucky with that weather. Tom, thank you so much. Enjoy. Well, Russellville, Arkansas was ranked by NASA as one of the best places in the U.S. to watch the eclipse. That's where our friend Mike Mamino is this morning. He's a former NASA astronaut and senior advisor for space programs at the Intrepid Museum. Mike, good morning. I see that big smile on your face. I know you are excited today. So people are coming from all over to exactly where you are in Arkansas for the eclipse. What are you expecting to see there, and how are you feeling? Are you as excited as us mere mortals who have never been up to space are?
Yeah, Savannah, I'm really excited. In space, you get to see some really cool things. I got to see the sun in the black sky and the stars above the atmosphere and look back at the planet and look at it rotating. And this is a reminder that today is a reminder of those things, that we are part of this cosmic dance, this ballet that exists between the sun and the moon and the stars and the rest of the solar system. We're going to see an amazing thing today, the eclipse, right here in Russellville, the total eclipse. So I'm very excited about that. A lot of people are excited around here. They've come from all over the world, really, to Russellville, Arkansas. They've rolled out the red carpet here, so NASA will be here as well, and I'm looking forward to seeing everyone's reaction, not just to see the eclipse, but to see everyone so excited about what's going to be happening today.
You got to say, like the Russellville branding, it's like a little I Heart New York inspired behind you there. Got to step and repeat the whole thing. They're ready to go. Mike, so of course, something we've been talking a lot about here, which is kind of a bummer, is that in some parts of this path of totality, in many cases, a place where people may have traveled from far to actually be and see the eclipse, the weather might not cooperate in the way that we'd hope, be pretty cloudy up there. What does that mean that people will actually be able to see if they are under cloudy skies?
Last time this happened, 2017, I was in Charleston. I think that's where Tom said he was. And I don't remember seeing much because it was overcast. So if you have overcast skies, it does obscure what's going on up there. And you can't see through it. But hopefully here in Russellville, it looks like the weather's going to be really good and cooperate, so we'll be able to see it. But even if that happens, even if there are clouds in your area and you can't see it, it's still something to enjoy. It'll still get dark. You'll feel a temperature change. It'll get cooler. Animals will react in different ways, and people are still together to celebrate this and to enjoy what's happening. So I think even if the clouds don't cooperate with us, wherever you are, I think you can still enjoy it. But let's hope for really good weather here. I think it's there. I don't want to jinx anything, But right now, we're very hopeful we're going to have a great show here in Russellville.
And we're going to check in and get that forecast for everybody in just a moment. I think something else, right, that's kind of cool, even if you can't really see it, is presumably wherever you are, even under cloudy skies, there's going to be a huge group of people gathered together, kind of have this experience together, be chasing something together. What do you think that element adds for people today? You know, you've traveled somewhere that you don't live. You're going to be with a group of people all experiencing something together. Are you looking forward to that?
Oh, absolutely. I arrived here over the weekend, and just the excitement in the air, the young kids. I don't know if I'm spoiling anything for the teachers, but there's no school today here in Russellville, for example. The students are actually in school watching the eclipse. So it is really a chance for us all to share something. There are very few things that we can all share together, particularly here in this case of the eclipse. If wherever you are, and you may not be in the line of totality, but you may get partial eclipse where you are. For example, in New York, a high percentage of the eclipse, and that's still something to get together and enjoy. So I think this is one of these days where we, almost like a national holiday, where we should take a time out and pay tribute and remember what's going on here. That this is a great science day, something to learn for everybody, and a way something we can all share. So I think we're on common ground here today.
There you go. You're hearing that straight from an astronaut who knows what he's talking about. Mike Massimino, thank you so much. Enjoy the day. Well,
Pleasure,
the East
Savannah.
Coast,
great talking with you.
As always, the East Coast is looking pretty clear, but let's talk about those cloudy skies. Where might that impact what people are able to see? Let's get a check on your Morning News Now weather with Michelle Grossman here in studio. Hey, Michelle.
Hey, Savannah. And it's all about location, 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 because some people have really great forecasts and some not so others. So Mike kind of touched upon these points when the eclipse does happen in terms of the weather. Weather is all about balance. Mother Nature wants to be in balance just like we do. So when the temperatures drop, we'll see the humidity increasing. We'll also see the winds going down just to sort of balance it out. Once the atmosphere sort of balances out, then things become calm. So it's going to be cool to feel that, you know, just calm, the stillness, that spirituality that people are talking about as we're all experiencing this together. So let's talk about the weather in certain cities across the totality. Notice these percentages. These are decreasing as you go, as expected, away from the 100% totality. So as we go up and down, we're looking at the southern plains. That's going to be a place where we are looking at the chance for some clouds, some low clouds. High clouds tend to be thinner. They're going to filter out some of that sunshine or some of what you're seeing, the flares around it. It's the low clouds that we're worried about. So from the Gulf to the Great Lakes, that's where we're seeing a cold front kind of bringing some rain, bringing some clouds. We're going to watch that very closely. Just a few clouds from the plains to the Midwest. The northern plains, we're looking at leftover clouds, leftover rain and snow from the weekend. That's going to continue into the later part of today. And the East Coast looking mostly sunny, but we'll see the clouds increasing throughout the day along the East Coast. And that's where we're going to see the high clouds, the ones that will filter out. So looking at a few cities across this line here, we're looking at Austin and Dallas, mostly cloudy skies. Austin, you could be seeing some showers when you're seeing the eclipse at around 1:36 Central Time. Little Rock, we're looking at 30%. Same story in portions of southeastern Missouri, Indianapolis. That's going to be a tricky forecast along with Cleveland. I know Chris Jansen is in Cleveland today, and we're looking at mostly cloudy skies, if not partly cloudy. So we'll look at that 4-minute time period. Hopefully the clouds will be dissipating at that point. 80% in Buffalo. The place to be will be in northern New England because we're looking at lots of sunshine there, clear skies. Let's get into here because I do want to mention this too. This is a big story as well as the eclipse. Of course, that's a big story too. We're looking at the chance for severe weather in portions of the southern plains, and that includes softball-size hail and a few tornadoes.
And look at that, right along the path of totality in some places where a lot of people might travel there, not be used to that type of weather. So important to keep in mind.
Yeah.
Michelle Grossman, thank you so much.
Have fun.
Let's pray for the cloudless sky.
Yes.
All right, well, around 4 million people are expected to travel to be in the path of totality, with estimates putting the economic impact of this rare celestial event at more than $1 billion. For more, we are joined by Katie Nastro. She is a travel expert at Going. Katie, good morning. Always great to see you. So this total solar eclipse, it cuts across 15 states and quite populated areas in some of them. Where are most people flocking to watch it?
Right. So this has the potential to be one of the biggest moments for travel in 2024. Looking specifically like areas of Texas, expecting upwards of 1 million visitors, along with Indiana and Ohio coming in close seconds at around 500,000 people traveling just for this event. But like we just saw on the weather forecast, it's appearing that the areas of the Northeast that weren't exactly the hot spots to begin with for traveling due to the eclipse, it's looking like one of the best areas to be able to view it due to the sunnier weather.
And the eclipse is also, in terms of talking about travel, coinciding with spring break. What do you think that means? Do you think we'll see delays, traffic, that type of stuff? And also, I guess, do you think most people are already in their place and maybe today is not so bad of a travel day?
Right. So, we actually have been monitoring TSA security numbers throughout the weekend, and we saw a big shift sort of coming into today. So we don't anticipate, of course, airports are going to be busy, but it's really that after effect. The eclipse only takes place for a short period of time, but then, everyone looks to leave at the same moment. So if you are heading out right after, you're going to expect longer lines, especially when it comes to traffic. So, get your car gassed up and potentially wait a little bit longer after the fact so you can sort of avoid that massive rush.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't even imagine when you see all these amazing pictures of people looking like they're having so much fun, like out in a field together. Where are all their cars and how are they going to get out of there? I have been wondering that. Hopefully people are mostly where they're going to be, given that this is just a few hours away from now. But for any procrastinators who want to head out today, anything that they should keep in mind, anything you'd recommend or any deals?
Right. Last minute flights are always pretty pricey, but last minute eclipse flights coupled with some spring breakers in there are certainly more expensive. So your best bet at this point might be to get in areas that are just outside of the path and then possibly drive in. So, heading to Chicago versus Indianapolis and then driving into the path, or even staying in areas again that are only supposed to get about 80% coverage. So areas of New York, which is still pretty significant and definitely worth viewing.
I also think if you haven't made your plans at this point, not sure how much help we can provide you, but Katie Nastro, thank you for doing so and enjoy the eclipse.
Thanks, you too.
And even if you are not in an area that's going to experience this total eclipse, it doesn't mean that you can't still participate in the excitement of the day like us here in New York City. NBC News correspondent George Solis is aboard the USS Intrepid. That is right here in New York City off the western side of Manhattan. George, good morning. So even if you aren't in this path of totality, what will we experience during today's eclipse?
Hey, good morning, Savannah. Yeah, how cool is this, right? We're watching history happen where history has already been made. We, yes, are not in the total path of totality here, but that doesn't mean we're not going to have fun. Here at the Intrepid and the museum, we're expecting some 6,000 people to watch this cosmic ballet, this cosmic confluence of this solar eclipse. And we do have our glasses handy. The people here will have their glasses handy. It is going to be an awesome time. And right now, I can tell you, Savannah, weather looking pretty good, even for that 90% partial eclipse.
I know, that's so exciting that the weather's well. George, tell us, so you're holding up those glasses. Remind us, if you're not in the path of totality, that means it's still going to be quite a bit of the sun, right? For us, 10% of the sun, essentially, that you'd still be able to see super bright. Just remind us the importance, especially in these areas where we're not going to reach totality and really ever be able to take those glasses off, the importance of wearing them.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, key thing to remember here, only those that are in the entire path of totality here will be able to look up, and only for that short period of time. And I will go ahead and demonstrate by putting them on. And as I'm sure you've experienced, once you actually have these on, you can't see anything, but as you look at the sun, you actually get that beautiful orb, and that is the idea, to be able to look up and actually watch the partial eclipse without that risk to your eyes, because you can do some serious damage by looking up. So it is so important to make sure that you have the right kind of glasses, and regular sunglasses won't do. You really want to make sure you have the approved kind to look up at the eclipse.
Yeah, these are thousands of times darker. Regular sunglasses definitely not going to cut it. George Solis, thank you so much. Have fun out there today. And we'll have special live coverage of the total solar eclipse from the entire NBC News team across the country. Our extended live coverage gets underway today at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific, right here on NBC News Now. It'll also be over on NBC, and we will have live updates throughout the day on NBCnews.com. The South Carolina women's basketball team is waking up this morning as undefeated champions. The Gamecocks completed their perfect season in style, beating the Iowa Hawkeyes 87-75 in the national title game. It was a high-stakes rematch that drew millions of viewers after last year's Final Four battle when Iowa ended South Carolina's bid for an undefeated season. But after coming back with a whole new lineup of stars, South Carolina finished this year's March Madness tournament with their second championship in 3 years. And we are now thrilled to be joined by Naismith Coach of the Year and now three-time national champion head coach of the South Carolina Gamecocks, Dawn Staley. Dawn, congratulations on the win. We appreciate you joining us so much this morning. Thanks for being here. And I know you were visibly emotional after the game, understandably so. How are you feeling this morning? And tell us what this particular one meant to you.
I'm feeling great this morning. Anytime you can wake up a national champion, you feel really good. This team has been, quite the unexpected team with how we started to how we finished and everything in between. I will say it's been a fun team. They've never felt tight. They always played free. And I know probably our coaching staff took on all the tightness and, all the things that come with mounting a challenge. But super cool experience all season long. I really, really enjoyed this team, not because of the success that they had throughout the season, but the way they developed into a team. It happened so organically that they grew to love each other. They grew to hold each other accountable. They grew to not wanting to lose, and it never happened. It never happened to us this season. So it was kind of cool to see the dynamics develop throughout the season.
Absolutely. When you think back to the moment where what you've got ahead of you is rebuilding your whole starting lineup, and then for it to also come out to include, some of your freshmen are just absolute superstars. When you think about that moment, having to rebuild, and now you've won, you undefeated season, national champions, what was that process like? And what was it like at the beginning? Was it daunting at all?
Yeah, I didn't really look at it as rebuilding because we have talent on our basketball team. What I wasn't anticipating was them not coming back to campus in shape, them not being on time to certain things, them not just taking or prioritizing what we need to do as a team in order for us to be successful. So it was a hodgepodge of not so do-gooders, and it took time. And I think what they did for me as a coach has made me kind of adhere to the words that I give them, which is trust the process and meet people where they are. They made me meet each individual where they were in their process. And because of that, we were able to get to where we needed to be a lot quicker because we did not hold them to the standard of last year's team, because last year's team was full of basically adults. This team, we have a lot of young players who they come from different backgrounds. They came from being the stars of their high school team and being able to do whatever they want to do, and to come into college where they have to start over and do it the way we need them to do it in order for us to be successful. So that process took a little bit longer, but once they got it, once they understood it, we more than made up for getting off to a slower start in the summer.
Absolutely. Women's basketball saw so much interest, saw viewership records broken, so much excitement across the country. I thought it was so classy, no surprise coming from you, but that after the game that you called Caitlin Clark one of the GOATs of the game. Between having someone like her involved, having your team have an undefeated season, what do you think about this moment for women's basketball? And tell us a little bit more about what you think about Caitlin Clark.
Yeah, well, on Caitlin Clark, she carried a heavy load of carrying women's basketball. Anytime that she played a game, everybody wanted to be in attendance to watch. And if it's televised on a national televised game, everybody tuned in to see the very magic that she performs out there on the court with her play, not just her scoring ability, her ability to hit logo threes, but what I really like about her and the position that we share, which is the point guard position, is her court vision, her ability to make every teammate of hers feel special, so they could play an integral role in their success. So I know why people tuned in to see what a generational talent that she is, and I hope that she carries that to the next phase of her life in the WNBA.
Absolutely. One of your players, one of your superstars, Camila Cardoza, she had this to say about you. She said, "I don't have my family here." She was emotional as she was saying it. "She's just like family for me, a family away from home." In speaking about you, how do you approach coaching these young women, and what do they mean to you?
Well, anytime that you're involved on a daily basis with young people, one, they need to be heard. One, you need to give them a space so they can express themselves, so they can give you what they're feeling. Nowadays, they're no longer going to just go back in their room and cry. They want to get it out, and they need to feel comfortable enough to get those feelings out, so they can replace them with happy thoughts, and they can replace them with things and experiences that they can really enjoy. If Camila's so hung up on missing her family, she's going to stay in that space a lot longer. But because she can say, "I miss my family," we can say, "Hey, we miss them too, but here's something else that you can do because you miss your family." Young people are so incredibly gifted with the gift of gab, the gift of feeling and emotions, and they're unafraid to let you know. And I think it's super cool that Camila feels comfortable enough to pull down her layers and give us all of her so we can give her all of us.
Well, they love you. Your girls sure do love you, and it's clear to see why. Dawn Staley, thank you so much. Congratulations. Again, we so appreciate you joining us on A Big Morning.
Thank you.
We've got much more to come here on this hour of Morning News Now, including some pretty alarming new video showing part of a Southwest Airlines plane peeling off after takeoff. The fallout over that latest mid-air scare in just a moment. First, though, Israel's military now pulling forces out of southern Gaza. Why the sudden shift in strategy? We're on the ground in Tel Aviv this morning as protests flare over those remaining hostages 6 months into the war. Stay with us. We are back with the latest on the ground in Gaza, where Israeli forces have begun the process of withdrawing troops from the south to carry out new operations in the north. It comes following a weekend of renewed protests against Prime Minister Netanyahu and his failure to bring home the remaining hostages taken by Hamas militants 6 months ago. NBC News correspondent Hala Garani joins us now from Tel Aviv with the latest. Hala, good morning.
Good morning. Yes, indeed. We have quite a few significant developments that took place over the weekend. You mentioned there that military reversal there in terms of the troops on the ground. The Israeli military has announced that it is going to be withdrawing its ground troops from the southern part of Gaza, specifically around Khan Yunis, where they'd been conducting operations for the last several weeks, focusing them on the northern half of the Gaza Strip. Now, that doesn't mean a cessation of hostilities by any means. In fact, the chief of staff of the Israeli army has said that this does not mean that the war has ended. They will be, these Israeli soldiers, conducting targeted operations in the southern part of the Gaza Strip. And of course, there will still be aerial bombardments that are still part of the arsenal of the Israeli military and its offensive in Gaza that started 6 months ago now, after October 7th and that attack by Hamas inside of Israel. We're also keeping a very close eye on these talks that took place in Cairo over the weekend, because we've heard conflicting reports. On the one hand, Egyptian media are quoting participants as saying that progress was made to come to some sort of agreement to cease fire for a while, to allow for the release of hostages and for more aid to go in. But Hamas had sent representatives, and on their way out, they were quoted as saying that there was still very much a big chasm between the two sides, that they had not come to anywhere close to an agreement to establish a ceasefire or a deal. And all of this is happening against the backdrop of a continued devastation in the Gaza Strip. Many families who were driven out of the south by the military operation returned to find homes destroyed and unlivable. Savannah.
All right, Hala Garani, thank you so much. Well, here in the U.S., Boeing is facing yet another investigation from federal authorities after passengers on board a Southwest Airlines flight recorded the protective cover of the engine flying off during takeoff in Denver. NBC News correspondent Sam Brock joins us with the latest. Hey, Sam, good morning.
Yes, Savannah, good morning. It was going from Denver to Houston. That flight actually got to elevation of about 10,000 feet, but it was during takeoff that passengers noticed the cowling of the cover around the engine tearing off. Now, one passenger told us about 30 minutes later, it landed safely back on the ground at Denver, and the plane had to get towed to the gate. This morning, the FAA investigating this surreal sight that left passengers on board Southwest Flight 3695 terrified. Those on board witnessing the plane's cowling, or metal covering that houses the engine, appearing to peel off as the aircraft headed down the runway for takeoff. The Boeing 737, scheduled to fly from Denver to Houston Sunday, had to turn back.
Let's go ahead and declare an emergency for Southwest 3695. We got a piece of the engine cowling hanging off, apparently.
Roughly 30 to 45 minutes later, the plane was back on the ground, and passenger Frank Sanger says he was surprised by what he saw upon deplaning.
You could see the jet engine had a panel stripped away all the way around.
The FAA issuing a statement saying, in part, the pilot reported the engine cowling fell off during takeoff and struck the wing flap. The Boeing 737-800 was towed to the gate. The FAA will investigate. While the plane is manufactured by Boeing, the engine is not. It's unclear what caused the malfunction, but Southwest has recently experienced a series of runway scares, including a possible engine fire on Thursday that grounded a Vegas-bound flight in Lubbock, Texas. It also comes amidst sky-high scrutiny of the airline industry. United Airlines planes have had a number of safety issues, including 8 incidents in 2 weeks. In a memo last month, United telling its employees the FAA would be growing its presence at the company. Meanwhile, Boeing is facing investigations from the Justice Department, NTSB, and FAA after the Alaska Airlines door plug blowout led to questions of quality control breakdowns. Their CEO announcing last month he's stepping down at the end of the year, but remaining on as the company makes changes. Aviation experts say that incidents like this of a cowling coming off are actually fairly common, and they want to remind you there are tens of thousands of commercial flights every single day, and rarely are these kinds of incidents catastrophic. Savannah, back to you.
All right, Sam Brock, thank you so much. Coming up, we are talking about safety during today's solar eclipse. After the break, how state officials are preparing for that daylight darkness and how you and your pets can stay safe while viewing this historic solar showing. Stay with us. Welcome back. Let's get back to the total solar eclipse happening just hours from now, the main event. And as things go dark, officials in multiple states are warning of the potential impact the eclipse may have on people and animals, importantly. NBC News correspondent Morgan Chesky is in his hometown of Kerrville, Texas, with tips on how to keep your family and your pets safe. Hey, Morgan, good morning.
Hey, Savannah, good morning. The countdown officially upon us here. Thousands expected to converge on Kerrville, and really the time is running out to get those eclipse glasses to make sure you can witness this celestial spectacle in all its glory. But today, experts are pointing out we might not be the only ones witnessing this for the first time. It could be our pets' first time as well, and that's why they have some great tips for the hours ahead. This morning, the stage is set for the greatest show on Earth as communities along the coveted path of totality count down to today's total solar eclipse.
I think it's going to be awesome.
While the main event will only last for about 4 minutes and change, many cities like Kerrville, Texas, have been preparing for years. You were looking at potentially multiplying the town by 10.
Possibly.
That influx of eclipse chasers now has officials in dozens of states telling residents to be ready.
That's going to mean a substantial increase in traffic volumes.
Pack your patience along with snacks and water, and make sure you have a full tank of gas.
And if you happen to be on the road when the sun and moon align, transportation officials say drivers should expect heavy traffic and sudden stops. Be on the lookout for distracted pedestrians and keep those emergency lanes clear.
Safety first, eclipse second.
For those lucky enough to get a glimpse of the astronomical event, it's critical to make sure you have the proper protective eyewear. The Better Business Bureau recently issuing a warning about fake eclipse glasses. To spot the difference, make sure your lenses have a curved reflective design in the front. And look for the correct ISO certification logo on the inside. Not this one, seen on some fakes.
Verifying how good these glasses are and who you're buying them from is really important.
As for our four-legged friends, experts say pets will probably be unfazed. Still, to mitigate stress levels during the eclipse, experts suggest keep your animals away from large crowds. And while it's unlikely they'll look directly into the sun, remember, a pet's eyes can be just as easily damaged as a human's. At the Dallas Zoo, animals will be watched closely for any strange behavior.
To make sure that the animals are safe and they're not responding in an extreme way.
Experts expect birds to go eerily silent during the blackout. And primates may begin their nighttime routines a bit early. And while dramatic changes are still unlikely, zookeepers are ready to respond if anything gets a bit too wild. And again, zookeepers stress they don't anticipate anything too out of the ordinary, although they will be keeping an eye on those birds who might be going home to roost during that 4.5 minutes or so of totality here in Kerrville. Preparations well underway. Tens of thousands expected to witness this here, Savannah. The mayor of the city saying people need to be in place by 10 a.m. in order to secure the best spot. I just took a quick lap around, ran into a casual astrophysicist from Georgia. A lot of people hoping and praying that the skies open up here in Kerrville. Savannah?
I'm hoping and praying and crossing fingers, toes, all the things for y'all as well. Morgan Chesky, enjoy. Thank you so much. Let's keep our eclipse coverage going with NBC News correspondent Jesse Kirsch. He joins us live at the Great Lakes Science Center in Cleveland, Ohio, with a look at how the country is celebrating this big event. People even getting married during this event. Jesse, good morning.
Hey, Savannah, good morning. Lots of creativity going into this one. We are expecting this big moment to eclipse the size of 2017's American Celestial event. NASA says millions more people live across a wider path of totality, including here in Cleveland. This is one of NASA's official watch party events, and we're expecting around 30,000 people to be out here. So many of us are going to be taking in those moments of totality, but for some, that's going to involve more than just looking up.
An out-of-this-world spectacle.
You don't want to miss this once-in-a-lifetime total solar eclipse.
Calls for a massive celebration.
So I've been waiting for this for years, so it's amazing.
And when the total solar eclipse sweeps across North America this afternoon, clever cosmic spectators have dreamed up nearly everything under the sun.
This is my solar observatory explained.
People coming from all over the world to enjoy watch parties throughout the U.S.
I'm from France.
We've started planning just after Christmas.
I'm so stoked, like on a level beyond what you could even imagine.
In Cleveland, an estimated tens of thousands will rock out from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame to the Cleveland Guardians ballpark.
Ohio is the heart of it all.
In Arkansas, Little Rock Zoo is ready to go, holding a special tailgate party. And in places like Buffalo and Rochester, New York, families are coming from far and wide for giant events like the Rock the Eclipse Festival. But if you want a different perspective, like from the slopes, mountain resorts from Vermont to Ohio are all in, like Mad River with its Ski the Eclipse event. If you'd rather watch from the water, cities like New York and Chicago with partial totality have eclipse-themed cruises. For those hoping to fly a little closer to the sun, Delta's taking passengers on sold-out flights following the path of eclipse totality.
What could be cooler than seeing this happen at 30,000 feet?
But perhaps the ultimate way to ring in history? A total eclipse of the heart. Couples are planning to marry at various group weddings across the country. Over 100 couples are expected to elope at the eclipse in Tiffin, Ohio, pledging their total devotion to each other in totality.
I came from home from a work event and told Bart that I set a wedding date, and he said, "You did what?"
Jenny Harris and Bart Lombardi have been engaged for 2 years, and when they found out they could get married during a total solar eclipse, they were the first to sign up.
The whole eclipse factor is just, from everyone we've talked to, seems magical.
We are the more the merrier type.
Joining them are couples traveling a combined 17,000 miles from Pennsylvania to Texas. All anyone needs to join in is a marriage license. There will be a first dance, toast, and of course, cake.
If anyone objects, do they all have to object at the same time?
So there's certain things you can't control, right? The weather, other visitors and family members who might object. This whole thing is thrown together and, really just trying to make it an experience.
A one-of-a-kind way to celebrate by tying the knot under the stars.
We're just super excited to have everybody together.
Here's a fun fact for you. A total eclipse is part of this complete breakfast. I've got my pinhole projector ready to go, but we have a little bit of a problem here right now, Savannah. The sky is not looking great. And we talk about all these people who are coming from all over. How do we know that? Because I have an example of it right here. Among those who travel to Cleveland, my own mom. Hi, Mom.
Hi.
And I said the sky's not looking so great. We got clouds right now. What do you want to say to those clouds, Mom?
They're going to go away. I'm feeling it. Go
All right. We'll see who has the better forecast. Her or Mr. Roker. We'll send it back to you.
Oh, it looks like her name, I think, is Doreen. We just had a lower third up there for her. Doreen, thank you for joining us. Enjoy with your son. How fun is that? And Mom said so those clouds better move. Jesse, thanks so much. Coming up, student loans are back in the political spotlight this morning. President Biden is heading to Battleground, Wisconsin today, bringing his administration's plan on loan forgiveness to young voters there. But what are they saying about it? We're on the ground next. Welcome back. President Biden is heading to Madison, Wisconsin this afternoon to discuss his administration's new efforts to deliver debt relief for Americans with federal student loans. So last year, the Supreme Court struck down the administration's attempt to eliminate up to $20,000 for millions of borrowers. The High Court said the president did not have the authority to cancel such a large amount of debt without authorization from Congress. With the election now less than 7 months away, voters are speaking out about President Biden's efforts to eliminate student loan debt. In the latest installment of our Deciders series, we went to this focus group and spoke to a group of voters who say the president's efforts are resonating with them.
Well, for me, it comes down to this whole thing with student loans.
Who can name at least one thing President Biden has achieved while in office? Something that President Biden himself would say is an achievement. Todd?
Student loan reduction.
Andrea?
Yeah, student loan forgiveness.
Mary?
Student loan forgiveness.
Anybody has anything you like about President Biden?
Student loan forgiveness.
I was going to say the same thing as Michelle. Student loan forgiveness.
Okay, hold on a second. So if President Biden comes through with student loan forgiveness, you might vote for him.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So literally it's that kind of thought process.
Yes, because as of now, it's nothing. He's not doing nothing for me personally to where I feel like I want to give him my vote again.
For more on the Biden administration's new attempt at student loan forgiveness, we are joined by Mark Kantrowitz. He's a student loan expert and the author of the book, How to Appeal for More College Financial Aid, The Secrets to Negotiating a Better Financial Aid Offer and Getting More Financial Aid in the First Place. Good morning. Thank you so much for joining us this morning, Mark. So there are more than 43 million Americans with federal student loans, accounting for more than $1.6 trillion. Who benefits the most from this new relief plan?
Well, one aspect of the relief plan may benefit about half of all borrowers, and that's borrowers whose debt exceeds the amount they originally received, and that can exceed more than half.
And what do you make of hearing how important this is to so many voters? I mean, the fact that kind of one of the only things that they see as an achievement of our current president being this potential to actually drop this student loan debt, be free of it. What do you think that means for young voters as we head into an election?
Well, I mean, student loans affect not just young voters, but also people who retired with student loan debt. So it cuts across many parts of the voter population. And while in aggregate, it doesn't have a very big impact on the economy, it does have a very big impact on individuals' personal economies. I mean, we're talking a few $100s a month that's being taken out of the typical borrower's budget.
Absolutely. I want to also bring in NBC News White House correspondent Erin Gilchrist to shed some more light on exactly how this plan will work and tell us what we could hear next. Because, Erin, as we mentioned in the setup a moment ago, when President Biden announced his first attempt to cancel student loan debt, lawsuits soon followed, ultimately ending up in the Supreme Court, where they said he didn't really have the authority to do this. What's different here? I mean, does he, according to them, have the authority to do this? What types of challenges could we see around this?
Yeah, so the White House does think that this time around, what they've presented or what they will present today when the president speaks in Madison, Wisconsin, will be a plan that will stand up to legal scrutiny. Essentially, the idea here is to use rules that are already in place, a law that's already in place, an authority that the Secretary of Education already has to try to cancel or reduce significant amounts of debt for more than 20 million borrowers across the country at this point. You'll remember last time around, the plan the president presented that the Supreme Court ultimately struck down would have been about $400 billion. In this instance, we're seeing a plan that would cancel interest for certain borrowers, 23 million of them. We're also seeing part of the plan that would automatically cancel debt for borrowers who are eligible for some of the different loan forgiveness programs that are already out there, but people who haven't applied for these programs. So the debt would automatically go away for them. There would also be a part of this plan that would cancel debt for borrowers who are in repayment and have been in repayment for more than 20 years. And Savannah, the Biden administration does believe that the president will announce this today. It will take some time for a final rule to be made. This is being done through what's called the rulemaking process at the Department of Education. And so it won't be an instant change for borrowers, but it is something that the Biden White House believes will ultimately be good for people who are dealing with tremendous amounts of student loan debt. And to be perfectly honest, Savannah, it would be good for the president going into the election coming up, where this would impact young voters and potentially through some parts of this plan would impact Black and Latino voters in a significant way, all groups that the president needs to win in November.
Yes, certainly a political play as well there, as you smartly laid out. Erin Gilchrist and Mark Kentrowitz, thank you both very much for joining us. Now let's get into some other financial headlines for you. This morning, Spotify is tapping into the AI game space to help spice up your playlist. CNBC's Silvana Henao joins us with that and more. Money News. Silvana, good morning.
Hey, Savannah, good morning. Yeah, let's see how much they spice it up. So yeah, Spotify is launching personalized AI playlists that users can build using written prompts. So the feature will initially be available in the UK and Australia, with expansion to other countries in the future. So after a playlist is generated, you can then use the AI to edit and refine the results with commands such as less upbeat or more pop. You can also swipe left to remove a song from the playlist. Lime, that's the e-bike and scooter startup backed by Uber, plans to invest more than $50 million this year to expand its global network. Bloomberg reports the company will add more than 30,000 new bikes across North America, Europe, and Australia. Lime is expanding as its rivals are struggling to stay afloat. Last year, Bird went bankrupt, while reports say Lyft, which owns City Bike, is looking for a partner or a potential sale. And Beyonce tops the Billboard charts again. Her new album, Cowboy Carter, debuting at #1 on the Billboard 200 and on the top country albums chart. It's the 8th time Beyonce had a solo album top the charts, breaking the previous record for a female artist set by herself with Renaissance in 2022, Savannah.
I had to drive to a shoot this weekend. I was really deep in that album, loving it. Silvana, especially the one with Miley Cyrus. What a great song. Silvana.
Great song, yes.
Right? Thank you so much.
Yes.
Well, we have some breaking news this morning on an issue that could have a major impact on this year's general election. Former President Donald Trump has just revealed his position on abortion rights, having held several different views over the years. In a post on Truth Social, Trump said that abortion laws should be determined by each state. He said in part that people should, quote, do what's right for their families. Trump's position is in contrast to some of his allies within the Republican Party who have called for a national ban on abortion. Welcome back. Actress and comedian Kristen Wiig, returned to Studio 8H over the weekend, hosting SNL for the 5th time since leaving the cast back in 2012. That means she is now part of the exclusive Five Timers Club. However, former SNL writer Paula Pell joked that they pass out the coveted Five Timers jackets like free maxi pads, so maybe it's not that exclusive. Well, just to prove that, Wiig was joined on stage by stars like Matt Damon, Paul Rudd, Martin Short, and Ryan Gosling. They were all wearing the jackets, but most of them have not actually hosted 5 times. So there's the joke there. It's not all. During the show, the Palm Royale star brought back Aunt Linda. The classic angry middle-aged film critic returned to the set with some questionable hot takes for the first time in 14 years. She is just too good. It was so much fun to see her back. Even her promos before the show started, I thought were some of the funniest I've seen all season. There you go.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.